Hello, my dear twin flames. This is Victoria, and I'm here with your special reading. It is a daily reading, actually, but today it's going to be dedicated to the full moon in Virgo that's coming up. It's just hours away. For me, in my time zone, it's going to arrive like the actual point in time is going to be early in the morning. For a lot of you, it's going to be today, tonight, or if you're watching this the day before, then the following day. But anyway, it's coming, and as usual, I respect the energy of the moon very much. I've got my moon lamp on today, and just a quick reminder before we begin, we're definitely going to take a look at what this specific moon is going to mean for Twin Flame Journey, for Twin Flame Collective. I just wanted to remind you the general concept of the full moon, what it symbolizes. Full moon is about, it's like the end of a cycle, right? Not like, it is the end of the moon cycle. Moon cycles are powerful in many different ways. And if you remember at the beginning of the cycle, in the new moon, we were talking about setting intentions, starting new projects, right? It's almost like you have that extra power, you have that trampoline to get you going. The full moon is the point where we are kind of reaping what we sowed, right? We are summarizing the results. We are acknowledging our accomplishments. And of course, not everything works out in the best possible way. Not everything that we do is perfect or in the highest good. So there are also things that we may acknowledge as something that didn't work out, or we don't want that to be in our life anymore, right? This is a time to kind of do that inventory. Say thank you for acknowledge successes. Say thank you to yourself for the work that you've done to make this happen to others as well. And think about what you'd like to get rid of, basically. And you can do, depending on what your practices are, what you do for mindfulness, for for spirituality, there are all kinds of practice. I'm not gonna go into them in this video, but there are a lot of things you can do to kind of make that message even more powerful. Another aspect of this full moon is, of course, that it's in Virgo. It's an earth sign. Virgo is also all about details, about schedule, about routine, about being disciplined and organized. So there's a good chance that there is certain things that you'd like, or you are going to be pointed to, that are about your everyday life, your lifestyle, your routine, like I said, right? And there could be good things that you need to acknowledge that you've managed to do better than you used before. Of course, journaling would help you a lot in this, but even just generally, probably can acknowledge that. Idea just came to me right now. Think about your New Year's resolutions. A lot of you made some, right? So this is like end of first quarter, right? You can summarize the results and see for yourself. How far have you come with those things? And I'm sure that some of the resolutions were to stop doing something, do less of something. How are you doing with that? Or is it still something that you'd like to kind of keep manifesting in terms of leaving it behind you? Right, so I gave you some ideas there of how you can work the energy. And now let's get to the reading itself. So I have two oracle decks with me. I'm gonna pull a card from each of the deck for divine feminine and divine masculine. So this is going to be our card of general energy, the vibe, this is going to be the advice for each of the twins. And then I'm going to take tarot cards and I'm going to see three different aspects of what is important to know, to pay attention to during this full moon for twin flames specifically. And then we'll get a clarification of what do we need to know about that topic. And that will be relevant for both of the twins. If you're watching this, you're a twin flame on a spiritual journey. So regardless of whether you're a divine masculine or divine feminine, you have your mission, you are working on yourself, you're raising your vibration, raising the vibration of the planet, of the communities, of people around you, and that will be relevant. And at the end of the day, DM and DF, the the twin couple is one, really, right? You have the same higher self. So of course the guidance I'm gonna get here is gonna work for either of you. It might be interpreted a little bit different, but you know, whatever, if you're listening, if you're watching this, you will find a way to interpret it for yourself. If you're here, you were meant to be here today. All right, let's get started. It took me only 5 minutes, but it's gonna go faster now, I promise. If you're interested in these types of readings, let me know. That of A, focused on astrology, B, are a bit more kind of streamlined into the journey to the spiritual path, rather than differentiating a lot of DM versus DF. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate that, guys. Okay, so for Divine Feminine, we have blend into the environment, like the octopus. You have many skills and can fit into any situation. Take time to assess what is going on around you and adjust and adapt accordingly. So it's about assimilation and adaptation to the environment around you. Okay, what's the energy for Divine Masculine? Sometimes we hear that blending into the environment, like almost kind of like blending into the background, is not a good thing, right? It's almost like you're trying to hide your personality. But sometimes it's really useful because, especially as empaths, we can really put on a hat and get yourself into the place of those people who we are, you know, that environment that we're blending into. And that can be a very interesting and very useful experience for your own journey, even if you're doing it temporarily, you know, call it a social experiment. See how it works out for you. Masculines have got look beyond the surface. Ooh, I love this. Look at this beautiful creature. Avoid becoming distracted by surface issues. Focus on the underlying motivation, cause or beauty in a situation. Seek ways to bring depth to your world. Yeah, yes, Divine Masculine, especially with the moon energy, which is more like a deeper energy anyway. It's connected to water, connected to our emotions, especially hidden ones that we suppress, that we usually don't express in our everyday life. DMs are asked to go deeper within and explore. Okay, let's get some advice from the Keepers of the Light for Divine Feminine first. Alrighty, we have Master Jesus, forgiveness. You are on the path of life, light, love, and forgiveness. Further healing is possible at this time. So yeah, it's forgiveness in general. It's letting go of any heavy energy towards people that you know you have on your mind, that you're still hurting about, or you're angry about, whatever it is in your case. Also, think about the relationship with your father, how healthy it is or it was, you know, where you left off, how you're feeling about them, you know, and about you too now. If there is space for healing there, then that's a very strong, it's not even a hint, it's a very strong direction for you to work on that during this full moon time. You can bring yourself some extra relief on those topics. What about Divine Masculines? Mother Mary, love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. You know, it's interesting, right? Because that's also deeply connected actually with the twin flame journey. It's interesting, but it's also that makes so much sense, because you know, like the whole Jungian psychology that is telling us that, you know, we basically build a template of a person, like, you know, with a gender, right, based on our parents, right? We have a template of a man based on our father, template of a woman based on our mother. And of course, since we're talking about the connection between the energies, right? Masculine and feminine, then the opposite templates matter in this case. And that directly relates to how we see our twin and what our relationship is like. That's why it's so important for the feminine energy to heal their relationship with the masculine energy. The masculine, like the primary masculine energy, right? That they've gotten to know first, or that was supposed to be in their life first, at least. So for feminines, it's the father or the masculine energy. Actually, I'm getting this is more about masculine energy for real, right? Like in some families, it could be, it's a very rare case, but it could be that mother was actually playing the divine masculine, not the, sorry, the mother was playing the masculine role and father was in the feminine energy. This is the relationship with the masculine energy. This is for masculines, we have healing with the feminine energy, with their mother, right? Could be a father, it's a rare case, but possible. Most likely was mother. And love and peace. Look, both cards are about embracing feminine energy, actually. So it's about masculine reconciling their inner masculine and feminine and feeling comfortable and feeling good with that feminine energy inside. It's also very much connected with this mother healing. Just don't have time to go too much in depth, but I think you will get the point. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take the Rider-Waite to see what kind of topics we need to pay attention to with this full moon in Virgo. And then I have my Thelema deck to get us some information. What do we actually need to know about it? And guys, just don't forget that the first card I've got was the moon. Of course. Don't forget to like the video, to share it, to subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing. But of course, remember, this is a general reading, so take only what resonates for you in everything that I'm saying. We have Three of Cups. And lot number 3 in this auction. Okay, that was a lot of different things. I'm gonna have to do it again. I think I've gotten the point, but still. Either I got too excited or the cards got too excited. What else? One card, please. Alright, jumped out. 10 of Wands. Alrighty, now let's get into, let me put this here. Let's get into the clarifications with the Thelema deck. Let's clarify the moon. What do you need to know about the moon during the full moon? What do you need to know about the moon energy? Apart from the fact that it corresponds to Cancer in the astrology. Seven of Cups. What about Three of Cups? What do we need to know about that? Whoa, Three of Wands in reverse. Let's clarify 10 of Wands. What do we need to know about it? 10 of Wands makes a lot of sense since it's end of a cycle, and that's exactly what we talk about during full moon. That's what I was talking about at the beginning, that you have a chance to leave behind any unhealthy patterns. Especially think about Knight of Cups here. Especially about something in your 3D surrounding. It doesn't have to be like precisely, I don't know, I'm like spending money on this and now I'm gonna stop spending money. It could be, but it doesn't have to be that literal. I'm gonna go into that a little bit more. The star at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, look how purple this card is. It's connected to the mission. And I already have a lot of blue and purple here, so my entire table right now is purple and blue. Very feminine energy, but that's what the moon is really. That's what it is. So topic number 1 is the moon. What do we need to know? It's 7 of Cups. Yeah, what I'm getting is that there could be a lot of different interpretations and a lot of different root causes for certain emotions and feelings that we experience. Let's call them emotions for now. It's more about emotions, actually, in this case. So the important part about working with emotions in this case is, like, you may not, first of all, it's important to know that you may not get it from the first try. You may make an assumption, right? And you'll probably have more than one idea of why you could be feeling that feeling that is usually suppressed, but you manage to pinpoint it during this full moon energy, right? So don't be afraid if you get a lot of ideas and you're not sure. You can at least do like an experimental method, and you can kind of dive deeper into that scenario that you choose that seems right, and see and feel through it. Like, kind of imagine almost like it's a suit that you're putting on and you're immediately in another place playing out that scenario. Does that ring a bell? Does it bring more ideas, more thoughts, more feelings to you, more memories? If yes, that's probably there was an accurate assumption. If not really, if you're still staying in your kind of logical space, trying to kind of assume things to make it up even maybe, then probably it's not a good one. Then move on to the next one. But know that there is no wrong answer. Yeah, that's what I'm getting here. So there's no harm in working through a scenario and trying to heal the scenario that you think was the root cause, but eventually you'll find out it wasn't. If you feel guided towards it, it means it was important for you to work through it. Even if it wasn't that important to you specifically, right? It was still important to look at it from a more scientific perspective. You were like a detective, right? And if this will serve you well in the future. Maybe you'll face a situation where that will be necessary, so you don't go spiraling downwards with your emotions when something like that comes up in your life. Or, of course, you could be using that knowledge and experience in your mission, in your light work. The next one, 3 of Cups clarified by 3 of Wands in the reverse. Both of them are threes. Threes are about taking action, about doing something. So there is 3 of Wands could be sometimes waiting, but it's in reverse. So this is about taking action towards your happiness, towards celebration, towards joy. It's not about being in a martyr mindset where you're like, okay, I deserve this, or I have to live through this, or whatever stories we may be telling ourselves that we deserve this or whatever, right? It's not. That's the important part of working with emotions. It's important to acknowledge them. It's important to process them, to kind of feel through them. But it's kind of like, imagine that's why emotions are associated with water as an element, that it kind of goes through you and it runs out and it goes away. That's how it's supposed to be. Of course, usually it gets absorbed. That's usually the problem. I'm talking about working with negative emotions, of course, because this is the topic about moving on to celebration and happiness. What could be stopping you from that? Think about it. If there is something, feel through it, transmute, forgive, and move on. And last but not least, we have 10 of Wands clarified by Knight of Cups. Yeah, so guess what the burden is that you need to put down? It's connected with the way you express love. It's likely connected, if you take a step back, it's connected to how the love was expressed towards you when you were a child. And that might be kind of a big topic to bring up or to explore right away. And you're not going to do it in a day or an hour, whatever time you're giving yourself to work with this full moon energy. But at least this is like a hint. It's like a catch, a hook, whatever. It's like a trace, right, that you can use to then move forward. At least take note of that this is something to work through. And maybe if you do not immediately understand what this is about for you, for your context, for this full moon. At least with the coming new moon, you will make an intention and you will transmute it in the next cycle. But it's still a good acknowledgement, it's still a good end of a cycle with a 10 here, that acknowledge that you do have these burdens. And it can manifest in so many different ways. But like, for example, it can be that it's preventing you from having healthy relationships with other people. And I'm not just talking about your twin flame, it could be somebody else. There could be certain things that people say or do that immediately trigger you. And if you are asked why, you can't even right away say exactly why. It just doesn't feel good, doesn't feel right. You feel like you've been let down, right? And at the same time, people could be manipulating you through certain things that you respond to in a good way. But then later on, again, your heart is broken, so to speak, because it didn't mean as much to them as it meant to you, right? All that comes from the patterns that we experienced in our childhood, most likely. Sometimes, of course, I mean, it gets like any kind of close relationship, intimate relationships with people, at least someone we consider in that space, they impact and they transform this understanding and the way we express love. So something to think about. Okay, I hope this reading has been good for you. Thank you very much for joining me today. I love you guys, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Happy full moon, everyone!